Welcome to Forex Mentor Weekly Forex Forecast. So before we start the analysis, kindly like, share, subscribe and click the bell icon for the motivation. So let's start. So this is the Euro USD chart. So as I told you last week that we might see some time downside move, but I also mentioned this move that we might see some upside spike before going downwards, and the price was moving as expected. So what will be the next move of Euro USD? So let's jump to the daily time frame for the detailed analysis of the Euro USD. So you see here that these are the strong resistance zone, and I also told you that the price is still in a divergence mode. Price is moving upward while the indicator is not creating another higher high. So when I see these kind of signals, I cannot buy. I avoid buy positions and I'm only looking for the short positions. So next week we might see some upside move to hit this area or this area before go downwards. So I'm still not interested in long positions. I'm still looking for some short positions of Euro USD. So all my view about the Euro USD is still downside down move. So this is the GBPUSD, Pound USD. So as I mentioned, this move 2 weeks ago, that price is moving below the strong resistance zone and we might see some downward moves, and price was going as expected. And I also told you last week that we might see some upside move. This is the short-term trade I told you in a weekly analysis, but I also share my longer-term view about the GBPUSD is upside up move with a target of 1.3034. So the price is still moving as expected, and now price is rejecting from this strong resistance zone. So what will be the next move? So the next move of GBPUSD is, if we draw a trend line, then next week we might see some downward positions to go further upside move. So next week we might see some downward moves. So all my view about the GBPUSD is downside down move, but my longer term view is upside. So this is the USD yen. So I told you in my previous week that I'm looking for some long positions. I'm not interested in short positions, and I also told you that if you have some system to take some short position, and I'm looking for only long position over this area. And the previous week price was moving downside. So what will be the next move of USD yen? So the USD yen is moving as we expected. So the next move of USD yen is we might see some downward move before go upward. So I'm only looking for some long positions with a target over here. So all my view about the USD yen is still upside up move. I'm looking for some good opportunity for long positions, not a short positions, and I'm not interested in a short. So if your system or if your strategy allows you to take some short position, you might further take some short positions, but I'm not interested in short. So my overall view about the USD yen is still upside up move. So this is the Kiwi USD. So as I mentioned last week that this is the strong resistance zone, and we might see some downside after testing this area. But I also mentioned that we might see some spike to upside to break this high or strong resistance zone to create some kind of fake outs before go downwards. Why I am interested in downwards? Let me show you something. So this is the daily time frame of Kiwi USD. So I want to show you something that I am interested in short positions in major pairs. In all major pair which I showed you previous week, that the all pairs are moving upwards, but their indicator or MACD is not moving upward and not creating higher high. That's why I'm only looking for some good decent short position, and that's why I'm not interested in long positions. So I also mentioned that we might see some upside spike to trap some retail traders over this trap zone before go downwards. So next week we might see some upside spike to test this area before go drop. So I'm watching the major pairs very closely and looking for some decent short entries for a longer term. That's why I told you and I show you why I am interested in short in all major pairs. So wait for the good entries for a longer term to grow your accounts. So all my view about the Kiwi USD is downside down move. So this is the Aussie New Zealand. So as I told you in my previous videos that I'm looking for some long positions over this area, with the reason why I was looking for some long position, because I see some kind of divergence over this area, not this area, this area. I see some divergence over this area, that the price was moving downward and the indicator was moving upwards, and I stopped selling over here. And I also told you guys that stop selling and looking for some good long opportunities. So I mentioned this area in my previous videos that I'm looking for some long positions over here, and I take some long position over these area, and the trade was moving decently. And you see, this is a good profit ratio with a low amount of risk. So what will be the next move of Aussie New Zealand? So the next move of Aussie New Zealand, that the price was rejected from the previous high, and we might see some further downward moves before go upward. This is the area of my taking profit, and this is also the area of my profit. If I will not see some kind of weakness over here, then I continue my trade further upwards. So all my view about the Aussie New Zealand is still upside up move. So this is the USDCAD, and the price was breaking this range to move further down to test this area, but price was not testing this area and struggling to go further down. So what will be the next move? I am still bullish in a USDCAD, and I'm still looking for some long positions. I'm not interested in short positions. This is a fake out. Many traders think that the range was broken and now price retest this area, then they might take some short position. This short positions are very risky. That's why I'm looking for some good long positions over this area. So the next week we might see some drop side down move before go upwards. I am still looking for some long entries over the targets, these areas. So I'm still pretty much bullish in USDCAD. So this is the Aussie USD. So as I told you last week that we might see some downside move if we see some kind of strong bearish move or bearish candle, then we might take some short positions over here. And I also mentioned this thing that we might see some spike to upside, and the price was moving as expected. We saw this kind of spike. So what will be the next move? The next move of Aussie USD, that we might see some another spike to upside before go downwards. And the downwards reason I recently discussed in New Zealand USD analysis. So all my view about all major pairs is still downside down move. So this is the Aussie yen. So I mentioned this trade in my Telegram group with my members that we might see some downside move over this strong resistance zone. If you do not subscribe our Telegram channel, then go and subscribe our Telegram channel for these kinds of trade setups. So I post this trade, and another trade is EURJPY, which I show you after this trade. That I recently 2 days before or 3 days before, I mentioned this trade that we might see some downside move over this area, and the price was moving as expected. So what will be the next move? The next move of USD of Aussie yen, that we might see some another move to downwards over this area or this area before go upwards. So all my view about the Aussie yen is still downside down move. And the another trade which I mentioned which I posted in my Telegram group is Euro yen, and I told my member that we might see some downward positions over this area, and the price was moving as expected. So what will be the next move? The next move of Euro yen, that we might see some upside move to break this high before go downwards. So all my view about the USD, all my view about the Euro yen is still downside down move. So this is the Euro pound. So you see here that there are lots of buyer over this area, and now the momentum of buyer is now struggling to create another high. So what will be the next move of Euro pound? So the next move of Euro pound is still we see some upside move before go downside. So why I am looking for some short positions and I am not interested in long position is the reason behind the short positions is the same. Price is moving upward and the MACD is going downwards. When I see these kind of divergence over any time frame, I stop selling and buying. So this is the area where I am looking for some short positions. So the next week we might see some upside move before go. This is a longer term short trade. That's why I'm looking for some decent areas to take some short trades for a longer time. So all my view about the Euro pound is downside down move. Thank you. I am Forex Mentor signing off.